Welcome to the deep dive. Have you ever found yourself incredibly busy, just rushing around, ticking things off a list, but maybe at the end of the day or the week, you look back and think, was I actually effective? Did I really move things forward on what matters?
Oh, definitely. That feeling hits home for a lot of people, doesn't it?
Yeah.
There's such a gap sometimes between just being busy and genuinely being effective.
Mm-hmm.
And today, we're digging into a really foundational text on this, Stephen R. Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Absolutely. And this isn't about quick fixes or productivity hacks, is it? It's much deeper. It's a framework really built on character, on integrity, and how we interact with each other.
Exactly. Building that strong inner foundation first. So our goal here is to, maybe go beyond the bullet points everyone knows and pull out some core insights from these 7 habits for you, helping you see how they all kind of link together and apply in the real world.
Because Covey really believed that effectiveness stems from who you are, not just what you do. And he set these habits up in a specific sequence, right? Moving from personal wins to collaborating well with others, and all of it supported by staying sharp.
Yeah, a clear progression. So let's dive into the beginning. Habit 1.
Be proactive.
Right.
Now, proactive, we hear that word all the time, usually means take initiative. But Covey's meaning is, well, richer than that.
It's richer. Yeah.
Yeah.
For Covey, being proactive is fundamentally about taking responsibility. It's realizing your life comes down to your choices, not just your circumstances.
That space between stimulus and response.
Exactly. That little gap where we have the freedom to choose how we respond. That's the core of proactivity.
So the opposite isn't just laziness, it's being reactive.
Totally. Reactive people get pushed around by external stuff, their mood, the weather, what other people do or say. You hear it in their language, right? There's nothing I can do, or he made me so mad, or
Right.
that's just the way I am.
Always pointing outwards. So where do proactive people put their focus instead? This brings us to that key model, the circles.
The circle of influence versus the circle of concern.
Yeah.
Your circle of concern includes, well, everything you might worry about. Global politics, the economy, other people's behavior, stuff you can't really control.
Right, it's
It
huge.
can be enormous. But your circle of influence, that's smaller. It's the things you can directly affect: your attitude, your choices, your work ethic, your skills, how you treat people.
And the big insight here is that proactive people pour their energy into that circle of influence.
That's it, exactly. They
Mhm.
work on the things they can actually do something about. And the cool thing is, when you focus your energy there on your influence, it actually starts to expand. You build skills, you build trust, you create opportunities. Reactive people, they fixate on the circle of concern, worrying, complaining.
And their influence shrinks. They feel more like victims.
Precisely. So taking responsibility, it's not just like a moral thing. It's strategic. It's how you gain control.
And this ability comes from self-awareness, being able to observe yourself.
Yes, Covey calls it one of our unique human gifts. Being able to step back, look at your own thoughts, your feelings, your habits, and then consciously choose a response that aligns with your values rather than just reacting automatically.
So a practical takeaway for you listening might be just notice your language this week. When something goes wrong, are you focused on blaming external factors, or are you asking, okay, what's my response here? What can I do?
That shift right there, that's habit 1 in action. It's owning your responsibility.
And why is this the absolute starting point? Why habit 1?
Well, because if you don't believe you're in charge of your choices, you can't really implement the other habits effectively. You can't set a direction or prioritize if you think everything just happens to you.
Right.
Proactivity is basically saying, I'm the one writing the code for my life. I'm not just running someone else's program. It's fundamental.
Okay. So once you accept you're the programmer, you're holding the pen. The next question is, what program are you trying to write? Where are you headed?
Exactly. And that leads us straight into habit 2. Begin with the end in mind.
This one's all about vision, right? Knowing your destination before you set off.
Precisely. It hinges on this principle that everything is created twice. First, there's the mental creation,
Okay.
the idea, the blueprint, the vision.
Like an architect designing a house before anyone lays a brick.
Right. Or a business plan before launching a company. The physical creation follows the mental one. And Covey says if we don't consciously do that mental creation for our own lives, figure out our purpose, our values, then we end up living by default.
Or worse, living out someone else's script for us, maybe society's or our family's expectations.
So beginning with the end in mind is essentially about designing your own life's blueprint.
Your personal constitution.
Yes. That's where the idea of a personal mission statement comes in. Not as some corporate jargon, but as a deeply personal guide. What do you want to be? What do you want to do? What principles guide you? It's your ultimate standard.
And that mission then guides your goals, your long-term objectives. They become landmarks on the way to that end.
Exactly. Your goals flow from your purpose. Without that clear destination, you could be incredibly proactive, incredibly busy.
But climbing the wrong ladder, as
Uh,
Covey famously put it.
Right. Just reacting to whatever seems urgent rather than intentionally moving towards what's truly important to you.
So for you listening, the work here is really internal. What are your core values? Seriously, what matters most? Imagine your 80th birthday or some milestone. What would you want people to say about you? Truthfully, that's starting with the end in mind.
And then don't just leave it as a nice thought. Translate it. What are, say, 2 or 3 major goals that genuinely align with that vision? Things that light you up, not just things you feel obligated to do.
How does having this clear end help day to day?
It's like a filter. When you face choices, how to spend your time, which project to take on, how to handle a difficult situation, you can ask, does this move me closer to my mission? Does it align with my core values and goals?
So it makes saying yes and no much easier.
Definitely. It empowers you to focus on the vital few things and let go of the trivial many, even if they're tempting or noisy.
Okay, so habit 1 gives you control. Habit 2 gives you direction. Now, how do you translate that direction into actual daily action?
That's habit 3, put first things first.
This is where the planning meets reality. Taking that vision from habit 2 and making it happen. It's about execution, right?
Exactly. This is the physical creation part we talked about. It's the day-to-day, moment-to-moment practice of habits 1 and 2. You've decided you're responsible, habit 1. You know your destination, habit 2. Now you actually do the things that get you there.
And the famous tool here is the time management matrix. People have probably seen it, but really using it,
Yeah.
that's different.
Oh, yeah. It's simple but profound. It categorizes tasks based on 2 dimensions, urgent and important.
Okay.
Quadrant ETH is urgent and important crises, deadlines, real problems. This is where stressed out, reactive people often live.
Firefighting mode.
Totally. Quadrant 3 is urgent but not important. Lots of interruptions, some meetings, things that feel pressing but don't actually contribute to your main goals. It's the quadrant of deception.
Right. And quadrant 3.
Not urgent and not important. Time wasters, trivia, mindlessly scrolling.
Sure.
Stuff to avoid.
Which leaves the magic quadrant.
Quadrant 2. Not urgent but important.
Planning, relationship building, learning new skills, exercise, prevention, preparation.
Bingo. The stuff that doesn't usually scream for attention right now, but is absolutely critical for long-term effectiveness, success, and well-being. And here's the key. Highly effective people focus their time and energy in quadrant 2.
They spend time preventing fires, not just fighting them.
Exactly. By investing in QAI, planning your week, building strong relationships before there's a crisis, taking care of your health proactively, you significantly shrink the amount of stuff that ever becomes a quadrant I emergency.
So it's proactive management of your life, not just reactive management of your schedule.
You got it. QII is the quadrant of personal leadership. QI and QEI are often about managing problems created by not spending enough time in QII.
So for you, maybe take a hard look at where your time actually goes. How much is genuine QII strategic planning, learning, connecting meaningfully? How much is Q1 pressure? And honestly, how much is Q3 noise or Q4 escape?
And try this. Schedule your quadrant 2 activities first. Block out time for planning, for exercise, for that important conversation before your calendar fills up with other people's urgent demands. And, be a bit ruthless cutting out the QID stuff.
How does living in quadrant 2 help with feeling overwhelmed?
Oh, massively. Because you shift from being pulled in a million directions by urgency to intentionally investing your time according to importance, according to your values and goals from habit 2. You feel more in control, less stressed, and you build capacity for the long run. It connects directly to habit 7, which we'll get to.
Okay, so these first 3 habits, proactive, and in mind. First things first, Covey calls them the private victory. They're about self-mastery, becoming independent.
Right. Building that solid inner core.
Then, once you have that, you can move outward to effective relationships with others, the public victory, which starts with habit 4.
Habit 4. Think win-win.
Seems straightforward, right? Find outcomes where everybody gets something good, but what makes it a core principle?
It's really about your fundamental worldview. Do you see life, resources, success as a zero-sum game, or is there enough for everyone? Win-win comes from what Covey calls the abundance mentality.
The belief that there's plenty to go around.
Exactly. versus the scarcity mentality, which assumes if you win, I must lose, or vice versa. That scarcity thinking leads to win-lose, I dominate. Lose-win, I'm a doormat. Or even lose-lose, spiteful conflict.
So win-win isn't just a negotiation tactic, it's a whole philosophy.
It really is. And it recognizes interdependence, the idea that in most important situations, especially long-term relationships or teams, our successes are linked. Pushing for a win-lose might feel good short-term, but it damages trust and future collaboration.
Right. It takes a courage to state your own needs, your win, but also consideration to genuinely seek out the other person's win.
Yes, that balance is crucial. And it's not always about simple compromise where everyone loses a bit. It's often about searching for a creative third alternative, a solution that's better than what either party initially proposed, meeting the key needs of both.
So for you, maybe reflect on your key relationships or negotiations. When there's a difference of opinion, what's your default mode? Is it about being right, getting your way? Or do you genuinely try to understand the other side and ask, how can we both walk away feeling good about this?
Try actually verbalizing what you think the other person needs or wants from this situation. So it sounds like for you, the most important thing is X. Is that right? Then state your needs and work from that shared understanding. It shifts the whole dynamic from adversarial to collaborative.
How does thinking win-win really change things?
Fundamentally, it builds trust. When people believe you genuinely care about their success as well as your own, walls come down. Communication improves dramatically. You unlock creativity. Relationships become partnerships, not just transactions. It's essential for truly effective teamwork.
And building on that trust, that mutual respect, leads directly to how we communicate. Habit 5.
Habit 5. Seek first to understand, then to be understood.
This one seems to hit people hard. Sounds simple. Listen first, but doing it consistently. That's tough.
So tough. Because our natural tendency isn't usually to listen to understand. We listen often with the intent to reply. We're already forming our argument, our advice, our counterpoint in our head.
Filtering everything through our own lens, our own experiences. The autobiographical response, as Covey calls it.
Exactly. Giving advice, probing with our own agenda, interpreting based on our life, evaluating, all before we've truly grasped what the other person is trying to convey. Covey pushes for empathic listening.
Listening not just with your ears, but
Your eyes, your heart. Trying to genuinely step into their shoes, see the world from their perspective, feel what they're feeling, understand the meaning behind the words.
And why is the order understand first so critical?
Because influence comes after understanding. Think about it. When you feel someone has truly heard you, deeply understood your point of view, haven't you become much more open to hearing what they have to say?
Yeah, definitely. The defensiveness drops.
Right. Trying to push your solution or perspective before the other person feels genuinely understood. It's like trying to make a deposit before they feel you've acknowledged their account balance. It just doesn't work well.
That's a powerful way to put it. So for you listening, a real challenge. In your next significant conversation, consciously pause your own inner monologue. Focus all your energy on simply understanding the other person.
Try reflecting back what you hear, not to agree or disagree, but just to check your understanding. So it sounds like you're feeling frustrated because, or let me see if I've got this. Your main concern is X. Get that confirmation. Then, and only then, share your perspective.
How can practicing this change a really difficult conversation?
Oh, it's transformative. It lowers the emotional temperature almost instantly. People feel validated, less attacked. It helps uncover the real underlying issues, not just the surface arguments. It builds psychological air, making space for finding those win-win solutions from Habit 4 and setting the stage for Habit 6. It's probably the single most powerful relationship-building habit.
Okay, so if you're aiming for win-win, Habit 4, and you're truly seeking to understand first, Habit 5, you create the perfect conditions for synergy. Habit 6.
Habit 6, synergize.
This is where 1 + 1 = 3 or more, the whole being greater than the sum of its parts.
Exactly. It's creative cooperation at its best. It's about genuinely valuing differences in opinions, backgrounds, style, strengths. Not just tolerating them, but seeing them as a source of better solutions.
So it's not about everyone agreeing or conforming.
Not at all. It's the opposite. When you have the win-win intention, Habit 4, and the empathic listening skills, Habit 5, you can bring diverse perspectives together and say, okay, you see it this way, I see it that way. How can we combine our insights to create something new, something better than either of us could have come up with alone?
So it's not just compromise, where everyone gives a little ground.
Right. Compromise is often 1 + 1 = 1.5. Synergy aims higher. It's looking for that breakthrough third alternative that honors all the different viewpoints and creates something truly innovative. It takes humility, admitting you don't have all the answers.
And courage to actually seek out and engage with different views.
So for you, think about a team project or a family decision. Instead of trying to push your idea or just meeting in the middle, could you intentionally create a space where all the different ideas are put on the table, genuinely explored, and used as building blocks for something unexpected?
Maybe asking questions like, what if we looked at this from a completely different angle? Or what part of your idea feels most important to you and why?
Yes. Actively soliciting and respecting those differences, using habit 5 to understand the why behind them. That's where the magic of synergy happens. It moves problem solving beyond individual limitations.
Okay, so we've gone from personal mastery, habits 1 to 3, to effective teamwork and relationships, habits 4-6. What keeps the whole engine running? What stops us from just running out of steam?
The crucial final habit. Habit 7. Sharpen the saw.
The renewal habit. Sometimes seen as just self-care, but Covey positions it as vital for sustained effectiveness.
Absolutely vital. It's the principle of continuous self-renewal across 4 key dimensions: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. His analogy is powerful. If you're sawing away, getting duller and duller, but you say you're too busy sawing to stop and sharpen, well, eventually you won't be able to cut it all.
So renewal isn't the reward after being effective, it's the requirement for staying effective.
Precisely. Neglecting any one of these 4 areas weakens your ability to practice all the other habits. Physical, the obvious.
Exercise.
Nutrition, sleep,
Impulse.
learning, reading, thinking, writing.
Emotional.
That's about our relationships, connecting with others, linking back to habits 4, 5, 6. Empathy, managing our emotional state.
And spiritual. Connecting to your core values, habit 2. Finding meaning, maybe through nature, meditation, service, art, whatever resonates deeply for you. And the key is balance across all 4. You can't just be a gym rat who never reads, or deeply spiritual but neglecting your health and relationships.
Right. They all interact and support each other. So for you listening, the honest question is, are you intentionally scheduling time for renewal in all 4 areas? Not just when you're already burnt out, but as a regular, proactive practice.
Maybe that means treating your workout like an important meeting, blocking out quiet time for reflection or learning, making date night actual connection time, not just shared space.
Exactly. How does sharpening the saw boost effectiveness? Well, you have more energy, clearer thinking, better emotional regulation, stronger relationships, deeper resilience. You're simply a more capable instrument for applying habits 1 through 6 consistently over the long haul. It makes everything else possible.
It really brings everything full circle, a powerful framework moving from within outwards.
Yeah, it's quite holistic. Covey provides this principle-centered map for personal growth and effective interaction. Not just quick tips, but a path based on character.
So let's quickly recap those core takeaways.
Okay. Habit 1, be proactive. Take responsibility. You're the driver.
Habit 2, begin with the end in mind. Know your destination, your values.
Habit 3, put first things first. Do what's important, not just what's urgent. Live in quadrant 2.
Habit 4, think win-win, seek mutual benefit, use the abundance mentality.
Habit 5, seek first to understand, then to be understood. Listen empathically before you speak.
Habit 6, synergize value differences, create better solutions together.
And habit 7, sharpen the saw, renew yourself continuously in all 4 dimensions.
These aren't just work habits or home habits, are they? They apply across the board.
Totally. Career, family, health, community, everywhere.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, maybe the final thought is this. Covey argues real effectiveness flows from our character and living by principles. Looking at these 7, which one principle or habit feels most relevant or challenging for you right now?
Yeah, just pick one. What's one small way you could consciously practice that single habit this week? How might focusing on just that one thing shift something tangible in your life?
Something to reflect on. We hope exploring the 7 habits has offered some valuable perspectives for your own journey toward effectiveness.